Imagine finally getting everything you've ever dreamed of. The person you love comes back. Your future suddenly looks brighter. Oxford finally opens its doors for you. And then, one powerful man decides to destroy every single dream you have. Not because you did something wrong, but simply because he believes you don't belong. This is exactly what happens in the final 3 episodes of Maxton Hall Season 2, where love, betrayal, manipulation, and heartbreak collide in ways no one saw coming. And trust me, what starts as the happiest day of Ruby and James' lives ends with one of the most devastating finales this series has ever delivered. So today, we're breaking down the complete story of Maxton Hall Season 2, Episodes 4, 5, and 6, explaining every major twist, hidden detail, shocking betrayal, and emotional ending. Let's begin. After James publicly confessed his feelings during the charity gala in Episode 3, it seemed like everything was finally changing. For the first time, Ruby truly believed James had become a different person. But someone else watched that speech with a completely different reaction: James' father, Mortimer Beaufort. And if you've watched this series, you already know one thing. Whenever Mortimer appears, someone's life is about to fall apart. Episode 4 opens inside the luxurious Beaufort mansion. The atmosphere is cold, silent, uncomfortable. James sits at the breakfast table, but peace doesn't last long. Mortimer storms into the room carrying a newspaper. Without saying hello, he throws it directly onto the table. The headline celebrates James's emotional speech. To everyone else, it was inspiring. To Mortimer, it was humiliation. He explodes with anger. He tells James that exposing personal weakness is unacceptable for a Beaufort. But that's not what truly bothers him. The real reason behind his anger is Ruby. Once again, Mortimer blames Ruby for changing James. He believes she is distracting his son from the future he carefully planned. Then comes another threat: stay away from Ruby or face the consequences. James says nothing, but inside, something has changed. For the first time, he's no longer afraid. Meanwhile, life couldn't feel more different inside Ruby's home. Instead of criticism, there's laughter. Instead of pressure, there's love. Her family celebrates the success of the charity gala. Everyone is proud of Ruby. Then, her phone vibrates. It's James. He wants to see her, immediately. Ruby rushes upstairs. She nervously cleans her room, checks herself in the mirror, even rearranges a few things. It's a simple scene, but it perfectly captures the excitement of first love. When James finally arrives, Ruby's younger sister gives him one very clear warning: don't hurt her again. James quietly promises he won't. Then, the two disappear into Ruby's bedroom. For the first time in weeks, they're completely alone. James notices a picture hanging on Ruby's wall. It's Oxford University. He asks her why she never gave up on her dream. Ruby smiles, then says something that perfectly defines her character. When something completes your life, you don't stop fighting for it. James looks directly into her eyes, then quietly asks, what if you've already lost the thing that completes yours? He isn't talking about Oxford. He's talking about Ruby. The silence says everything. Moments later, they kiss. Not the hesitant kiss from earlier episodes. This one is filled with relief, hope, forgiveness. Months of pain disappear in a single moment. They begin making up for lost time. The chemistry between them becomes stronger than ever. For a moment, it seems like nothing can separate them again. But just as emotions begin taking over, James suddenly stops. He admits something unexpected. He's scared. Not of Ruby, but of ruining this second chance. He doesn't want to rush. He wants their relationship to heal properly. Ruby understands. Instead of disappointment, she smiles, because this is exactly how she knows James has changed. He's finally putting her feelings behind his own. James apologizes for every mistake he made, every lie, every moment he hurt her. Ruby finally forgives him. But there's still one massive obstacle standing between them: Mortimer. James reveals that his father has already planned his future: Oxford, business, marriage, even suggesting he should be with Elaine instead. Ruby is shocked, but James makes one thing very clear: none of that matters anymore. He chooses Ruby, every single time. Still, the two realize they're not ready to face Mortimer together, so they make a difficult decision. Their relationship will stay secret, at least for now. Not because they're ashamed, but because they need time to become strong enough to fight back. Downstairs, James joins Ruby's family for lunch. It's one of the smallest scenes in the season, yet also one of the most meaningful. Watching Ruby's parents laugh together, seeing everyone support one another, James experiences something he's rarely felt: A real family. No pressure. No business meetings. No expectations. Just love. For someone raised inside Mortimer's world, this feels almost unbelievable. And deep down, James realizes this is the life he actually wants. Meanwhile, back at Beaufort Mansion, Lydia finally tries apologizing to Mortimer after missing an important board meeting. She hopes he'll forgive her. Instead, he completely destroys what's left of her confidence. He calls her unreliable, a disappointment, someone who will never earn his trust. Lydia finally snaps. She reminds him she's made only one mistake. But Mortimer doesn't care. To him, his own daughter will never be good enough. It's another heartbreaking reminder that Mortimer doesn't just control James, he controls everyone around him. And he's willing to destroy even his own children to protect the Beaufort name. But while one relationship is healing, another problem is already beginning. At school, Elaine refuses to accept that James has moved on. She convinces herself Ruby and James aren't really together. So she comes up with a plan. An elegant picnic, old friends, beautiful decorations, and one hidden goal: destroy Ruby. She personally invites everyone, including Ruby herself. Ruby immediately senses something feels wrong, but instead of avoiding the trap, she decides to walk directly into it. Because sometimes, the only way to beat your enemy is to face them head-on. But what happens at that picnic will change everything.
The picnic begins like a perfect afternoon, but beneath the smiles, everyone is hiding something. Elaine isn't interested in friendship. She wants revenge. Determined to embarrass Ruby, she secretly spikes Ruby's drink, but fate has other plans. Before Ruby can take a sip, Cyril unknowingly grabs the glass and drinks it himself. Elaine's cruel plan instantly backfires. As the afternoon continues, tensions rise. Lydia quietly confides in James that she has decided not to tell Graham Sutton about her pregnancy. She believes revealing the truth would destroy his career, so she chooses to carry the burden alone. At the same time, James admits that he and Ruby are secretly back together. He knows his father will never approve, but this time he's ready to fight for her. Then everything falls apart. Elaine's arrogant brother Frederick arrives at the picnic and immediately begins insulting Ruby because of her background. He looks down on her simply because she isn't wealthy. James has had enough. In front of everyone, he walks over to Ruby, takes her hand, and publicly declares that they're together. Elaine is left humiliated, Frederick is speechless, and Ruby finally realizes James is no longer afraid of standing by her side. The chaos reaches its peak when Cyril, still affected by the drug drink, becomes sick, bringing the picnic to an embarrassing end. The following day, Ruby receives life-changing news. Alice Campbell offers her a full Oxford scholarship, along with a job at her foundation. Ruby can't believe it. Her dream is finally becoming reality. James surprises her outside the office, and together they celebrate with one of the most romantic dates of the season. For the first time, they laugh, dance, and dream about a future together with fear. Believing Mortimer has already left for New York, James invites Ruby to spend the night at his house. Everything seems perfect, until a storm changes everything. At the airport, Mortimer learns that all flights have been canceled. Without hesitation, he tells his driver to turn the car around. And just like that, the man who has spent the entire season trying to keep James and Ruby apart is heading straight back home. Episode 5 begins with Mortimer unexpectedly walking into the house. Ruby panics, but James refuses to hide anymore. Instead, he introduces Ruby to his father. To everyone's surprise, Mortimer remains calm. He politely invites Ruby to join him for tea, asking about her dreams and her plans to study at Oxford. For a brief moment, it almost feels like Mortimer has changed. Later that night, James and Lydia even witness their father breaking down in tears as he remembers Cordelia. For the first time, they see a vulnerable side of him and begin believing he might finally become a better father. But that hope doesn't last long. The very next day, Ruby receives devastating news. Her Oxford scholarship has been revoked. She is completely shattered. James immediately suspects Mortimer, and he's right. Behind the scenes, Mortimer has pressured Alice Campbell into withdrawing Ruby's scholarship, proving that his kindness was nothing more than another manipulation. Ruby refuses to give up. She races across the city to submit a new scholarship application just before the deadline, barely managing to hand it over in time. Meanwhile, Mortimer sinks even lower. He secretly hacks into James's phone, reading every message, every photo, and every private conversation between James and Ruby. Then he discovers something that changes everything. An old photograph from season 1, a picture that could destroy Ruby's future if it falls into the wrong hands. At the same time, Lydia finally tells Graham Sutton that she's pregnant. Instead of running away, Sutton promises to stand beside her. But their emotional reunion is secretly photographed by Cyril while Elaine watches from the shadows. As the episode ends, Headmaster Lexington receives a mysterious message. His shocked expression tells us one thing: someone has just set a dangerous plan into motion, and the consequences will be devastating in the finale. Episode 6, Reaching for the Stars, delivers one heartbreaking twist after another. The episode opens with Headmaster Lexington receiving a mysterious photo connected to a teacher's alleged relationship with a student. At first, everyone believes the student is Lydia, but the truth is far more devastating. Meanwhile, James skips an important Beaufort shareholders meeting to support Cyril at his final lacrosse match. The decision infuriates Mortimer, and the company's biggest investor walks away, blaming James's public relationship with Ruby for the family's downfall. Mortimer's revenge doesn't stop there. Using his wealth and influence, he secretly buys Ruby's parents' bakery, leaving her family devastated. Everything Ruby has worked for begins falling apart. Then comes another shocking blow. During Cordelia Beaufort's will reading, James and Lydia expect to inherit part of their mother's legacy. Instead, every share, every property, and the entire Beaufort empire is left to Mortimer. James immediately suspects foul play, but with no proof, he can only watch as his father tightens his grip on the family. Still refusing to give up, James confronts Alice Campbell, hoping to restore Ruby's scholarship. But Alice admits she was forced to withdraw it because Mortimer's influence is simply too powerful. Then comes the season's biggest twist. As Ruby prepares for her scholarship exam, she's suddenly called to the principal's office. Waiting inside are Lexington, her mother, and Mortimer. The mysterious photo reveals Ruby standing closely with teacher Graham Sutton during the Season 1 welcome party. Taken from a misleading angle, it falsely suggests they were romantically involved. Despite Ruby desperately explaining the truth, nobody listens. She is immediately expelled. At the same time, Sutton admits to having a relationship with a student, though he never intended Ruby to be accused. He's arrested as Lydia watches in tears, unable to reveal the truth. Ruby walks out of the office completely broken. Her Oxford dream is gone, her scholarship is gone, her future seems destroyed. James rushes to her side, and Ruby collapses into his arms, as both struggle to hold back tears. The season ends with Mortimer seemingly winning every battle, but not the war. Because for the first time, James is no longer willing to obey his father. Ruby refuses to give up on her dreams, and Lydia is finally ready to fight for her own future. Season 2 closes with heartbreak, unanswered questions, and the promise of an even bigger battle in Season 3.